So, in the world of the giver, the community has basically engineered a perfect society. They've gotten rid of pain, fear, even choice, all by embracing what they call sameness. But there's a catch. One person, the giver, has to hold all the memories of humanity's past, the good, the bad, and the truly ugly. We're about to dive into the moment he's forced to share one of the worst memories of all with his young successor, Jonas. This right here, this isn't a normal training session. It's a desperate, rule-breaking plea, and it kicks off one of the most intense, unforgettable chapters in the whole story. With these words, Jonas stops being just a student. He's now being asked to share a burden that is literally too heavy for one person to carry alone. So let's be clear, this isn't part of the lesson plan. This is pure desperation. The giver is completely overwhelmed, and in this one moment, all the rules and all the careful training just get thrown out the window. It's a crisis that's about to change everything between them. I mean, just imagine walking in and seeing your mentor, this wise, powerful figure, completely broken. The giver is literally rigid, his face twisted in agony. He's so deep in this memory that he can't even stand up on his own. The weight of whatever he's experiencing is just too much. And what's so incredible here is Jonas. He doesn't even hesitate. He sees this immense pain and he just steps up. He even tells the giver what to do, saying, "Put your hands on me." You know, for this one critical moment, the student has to take charge because the master is totally lost. The roles are completely reversed. Okay, so the giver places his hands on Jonas's back and the memory transfer begins. And what Jonas gets isn't just a story or some facts about the past. No, this is a full-body, sensory assault that rips him right out of his clean, predictable, sterile world. And bam, the first thing that hits him is just chaos. For a boy who's only ever known quiet, order, and cleanliness, this is a massive shock to the system. The noise is deafening, the smell is just foul. He's instantly thrown into a nightmare he couldn't have possibly imagined. And the description of the air here is so important. It's not just smoke. It's thick, it hangs low, and it has colors, yellow and brown. Now you gotta remember, for Jonas, seeing color is this brand new amazing thing. But here, it's not beautiful. It's part of this oppressive, sickening atmosphere. The whole scene is just pure carnage. There are men groaning in pain, scattered all over a muddy field. He sees a terrified horse, its eyes wild, running frantically until it just collapses. It doesn't get back up. Every single thing he sees is just a snapshot of suffering. And this is a huge turning point for Jonas. Color, this wonderful new thing he's been learning to see, is now directly connected to absolute horror. The brightness isn't beautiful. It's grotesque. It makes the violence feel so much more real, more visceral than his gray, muted world ever could. It's such a stark contrast, right? His whole life has been muted tones and perfect order. This memory is a riot of crimson blood, torn up green grass, and startlingly yellow hair. All that vividness, which could bring so much joy, is being used here to just amplify the horror. And then, the memory is kinda like a camera. It's been on this wide, chaotic shot, and now it suddenly zooms right in. It focuses on one single personal moment that makes all the suffering incredibly intimate and impossible to ignore. Out of all the explosions and the screams, this one single word cuts through everything. It's such a simple human request, a tiny croaking whisper that pulls Jonas's attention to one person in the middle of all this destruction. So Jonas turns, and he doesn't just see a soldier. He sees a boy who's not much older than he is, basically a reflection of himself. His uniform is soaked in blood. The connection is immediate, and it makes this so personal. And then comes the gut punch. Jonas realizes he's not just watching this, he is this. He feels a searing pain and looks down to see his own arm is mangled, with torn flesh and splintered bone. He's not an observer, he's a participant, feeling the physical agony of this battlefield. But even in his own agony, Jonas responds to that plea for water. And look at the effort it takes. Every single movement is a fight against his own pain. He reaches, he has to pause, he pushes his arm forward inch by agonizing inch. This tiny act of mercy is this massive, monumental effort. The boy takes a sip, he sighs, and then he's gone. The life just slides out of his eyes.
And it's so quiet. It's this anticlimactic moment of death, totally at odds with the thundering chaos of the war still raging around them. Jonas has just helped someone in their final moments.
But the memory doesn't just stop there. Jonas is forced to lie in the filth and the pain for what feels like hours. And what he's left with isn't just a traumatic experience. It's this profound, terrible new understanding of the world. So now, when Jonas hears the word warfare, it's not some abstract concept from a book. No. For him, it's the sound of men crying for their mothers, the screams of dying animals, the thud of cannons, and this awful, overwhelming stench. That is the raw, unfiltered definition he now has to carry with him forever. The pain, both physical and emotional, is just so complete, so all-consuming, that Jonas actually gives up. He lies there and wishes he would die, just to make the suffering stop. That's how deep the despair is that the giver just passed on to him. And when Jonas finally snaps back to reality, back to the Annex room, these are the only words the giver has for him. Forgive me. He can't even look Jonas in the eye. It's an apology that carries the weight of centuries of terrible memories, a burden he knows he has to share, but that he hates himself for giving. And this one horrific memory really brings us to the central question of the entire story. To create this perfect world without any suffering, Jonas's community gave up everything: love, color, choice, real knowledge. This memory shows the unimaginable horror they escaped, but it forces Jonas and us to ask a really tough question. Was their ignorance worth the price?